Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Stacy with Build a Big Budgets, and today is the day some of you have been waiting for. It is our Oh Bestie baby collab and story time. So we have some money that I've condensed and put some fives in. I don't know if we'll use all of this, but if we need to, we've got it for that reason. I just like to have a little bit of overage money here on my desk. I find that it's helpful. And then we also have our game, and we have our minis and our tinies. So this was the money that we saved from last week. And okay, let's start with the game. We also have our baby highlighters in true spirit of the video. And we used the yellow one last time. Let's use this green one this time. So cute. Okay, so we left off right here. And we also left off on the part of the story of when I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter. So to catch you up, if you missed that first video, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter when I was 6 months along. And I found out because I went in for some extreme abdominal pain, and it turned out I needed to have gallbladder surgery right away. So emergency gallbladder surgery is how I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. My boyfriend at the time was super excited, way more excited than I was, but I was also 28. I was scared, wasn't quite sure what to expect, what to do. You know, I guess I should have been more prepared. I'd babysat kids since I was 15 years old, but it's a little different when it's your own, and you don't get to go home at the end of the night, you know? So here's where we left off. We left off that 2 weeks before I was to give birth, something happened. So here's the story, but let's roll first and get some money started to save. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a rocking horse for $3. So it was approximately 2 weeks before I gave birth to my daughter that I received a phone call from my boyfriend at the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make a wrong turn, blame GPS, save $4. Pretty easy to do here in this big city. I'm from a small town, so learning to drive here was quite the change. So let's put 1 back and we'll take a 5. Okay. So that phone call that I received from him came at 5:30 a.m. that morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little feet for $2. And I woke up because obviously my phone was ringing, and I didn't realize that he didn't come home that night. But I woke up to a phone call telling me that he has had a change of heart and that he was not ready to be a dad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 little feet again. So at that state of mind and pregnancy and hormone level, I thought, okay, well, you ain't got to say it to me twice, right? I'm getting ready to have a baby. And at this point, I was trying to be as prepared as possible. So I moved out from where we were living and figured that it didn't feel like a normal little, we never had any arguments. So that was the weird thing. No arguments in the 5 years that we dated. Other than like, I want pizza for supper. No, I want hamburger. No, we never had any arguments. So that should have been a flag anyway. Just because, you know, it was almost too good to be true kind of thing. So I ended up moving home with my mom until I had went into labor. by being induced. So I actually got induced once. Like, they had me come in because I was right at 40 weeks. They had me come in and they gave me Pitocin. Nothing happened. This year there was a ton of pregnancies, lots of babies being born, and they needed the room. So she said, usually we would never do this, but we're going to send you home and we're going to have you come back in a few days. So I was supposed to have my daughter on my mom's birthday, and it turned out I had her 4 days later. When I came back 3 days later to be induced again, they broke my water and I was in labor for 23 hours. So I ended up driving myself to the hospital that day to get induced again. And 23 hours later, I was finally at the point of having a baby. They ended up having to use the vacuum to get her out. So that was delightful. So what ended up happening was, by them doing that, I actually had hemorrhaged after having her. So I ended up with a ton of internal stitches and ended up needing to stay in the hospital for like 4 days. So my mom, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to tell a lot of people that I was actually pregnant. So, I mean, there was a handful of my good friends that knew, but as for the whole world, you know, I wasn't really on, didn't have any social media, you know, all that, where you can let thousands of people know something in a matter of a post. So I spent pretty much that whole time at the hospital by myself. My mom would come up and check on me on her way to work. And then the rest of the time I was there by myself. So the day I got ready to get out of the hospital with my daughter, the nurse had said, "Is somebody picking you up?" And I actually had nobody picking me up. So I said, "Yeah, my mom is going to be here." And she was like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, just let me know when she's going to be here, because we have, you know, we have to get the room ready for the next mom to be." And I was like, "Okay." So I was like a little bit later, I said, "Oh yeah, my mom's on her way." So she took me downstairs where we sat and waited, 1, 2. And I knew my mom wasn't coming. My mom was a very hard worker. She worked pretty much from 7 a.m. till midnight. She worked 2 jobs. So maybe that's a lot of the reason why I don't mind working as much as I do. Kind of used to it. But she was not coming. So after about an hour and 45 minutes, the nurse was like, "Okay, maybe we should go back upstairs until she gets here." And I'm like, "I promise you, she is coming. You're fine. Go ahead and go upstairs. I'll sit here in this wheelchair. And once she gets here, you know, we'll go." And she was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "I'm not supposed to leave you." And I was like, "I promise you." I had befriended her and made her trust me that everything would be okay. My mom was coming, which I knew my mom was not coming. And so when she had turned the corner to go back upstairs, I then stood up from the wheelchair and I carried my daughter out of the hospital. Now, keep in mind, I'd been in the hospital for like 4 days, so I had no idea where I had even parked. 1, make not funny mom jokes while in labor. Go back 1 space. So we are going to save another $1 by going back to our teddy bear. So it took me about, and this was in November that year, and it was winter, and we had probably 4 inches of snow. So I was walking around the hospital parking lot for about 20, 25 minutes until the security guard drove by, and he'd seen me a couple times, and I said, he goes, do you need help? And I was like, kind of. I'm not quite sure where I parked. And I'm sure he was probably like, "Girl, are you okay?" But he allowed me to get in with my car seat, with my baby. And we just drove around, and I hit my alarm button on my car until I found my car. And then I drove myself home. So after that, my daughter's father was not in her life. He had chose to not be a part of it, and I was fine with that. I mean, anybody that wants to leave somebody at 9 months pregnant, goodbye. We don't need you. So then that was my first pregnancy. So single mommed it up until I met my son's dad. And we're going to leave the story here because it's also, I wouldn't say, so being a single mom has been my reality. And that's totally been fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because my kids are my world, and whether I have help or if I don't, they're still going to be the center of my universe. And no matter what choices I make in life, they are always at the forefront of my brain. So they, I consider them before anything anyway. But before we get into the second pregnancy, which actually almost ended very tragically, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm just going to leave you with where we're at in the story, and then we'll talk about my second pregnancy. Okay, so we were able to save, and I kind of feel like, let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, let's leave with 20 on the board. So 5, 10, 15, and 20. That's a pretty good little savings for the game. And let's take a look at what we can do with our, yeah, let's do this tiny and that mini. And let's roll these and see what we get. How about that? Okay, well, that's not a big number, but that's okay. Where is my marker? Here we go. 1. So 1 and 5. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we dare roll again? We have $4. All right, so we will add $1. I have one in my wallet. I just won't be able to show you on camera that I'll put it in there, but I'll put it in there. Okay, so all together today we saved 5, 10, 15, 20, 1, 2, 3, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. $30 going into our Oh Bestie baby collab. So cute. And this game was actually created by our YouTube bestie, Sarah. Sarah Saves 07. And then Lil's World 733 is our other YouTube bestie. And this is our second collab together. And this was so sweet of them to want to do this together for my grandbaby coming here in less than 3 weeks, I think is where we're at. So, all right, friends. Well, I hope story time was something that you find a little shocking, but also, I guess, empowering. Okay, that's how I kind of want you guys to feel. I want you to feel empowered, because even though my life story is a little tough for some people to hear, I've also always told everybody that I will forever make my mess my message. And I've never once felt like being a single mom made me a victim. I absolutely love my children, and they are everything to me. So if anything, it's been a huge blessing. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned that I'm strong, that I am resilient, that nothing can take me down. So I hope that this, hearing my story on this first pregnancy and delivery and first child, just gives you some empowerment, some hope. Just, I don't want you to feel sad, because even though some of that is very sad, it's also, my reality, and it's also made me who I am today. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching this video. We absolutely love all of the love and support you guys give to us, and we are very thankful that finding this budgeting community has been just the most amazing thing and couldn't have came at a better time for us in our life. So I'm going to leave it with that. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. And for our friends who've come back to watch another video, we really appreciate all of your love and support. So we will see you for episode, or story, I should say, number 3, and that will be posted next Friday. So, but we will see you before then. We got our self-care Sunday, we have our Monday video, we have our Tuesday video, Wednesday. You'll see us way more before you hear about story 3. All right, friends, hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye, friends.